Hello, everyone, and welcome to Flickering Myth. My name is EJ Marino. Alan Christian is back for our discussion. We have a fun one today because this feels like every couple months we have the birth of a streaming service. Though
Dear
this one's like
Lord.
the dramatic rebranding of a streaming service.
Yeah. At
We're talking
least
about
there's that.
yes, we're talking about Paramount Plus, which was CBS All Access. A horrible name. Sorry, I think
A
Paramount.
horrible name and just a horrible idea.
Yeah, I
Pay
hate
for
that everything
CBS.
is the pluses now though. I don't like that we're in Paramount Plus, Disney Plus, like
Yeah. It's not a good
Discovery Plus,
naming.
I think.
No, well the Disney Plus one has like an actual Disney origin.
Yes.
Like that was like Walt Disney's like saying like plussing everything or whatever, so that made sense, but now it's just like we just have different streaming services ripping other streaming services off. Like clearly this means streaming. It's like
Yeah.
okay.
Uh, yes. But yes, Paramount Plus is debuting in actually, let me look up the date cuz it's going through a whole rebranding. Again, if you have CBS All Access, your app should just convert over. I don't think you're going to need to download a new app from what they've said.
Mhm.
Don't quote me on that, people. Who knows? They can change. I was there for HBO Max.
Yeah.
March 4th, it will launch as their full rebranding in the US. It is coming out into other places, Canada, Latin America. I don't think the UK is getting it, as for some reason the UK and streaming services.
Yeah.
I know they talk about rights are crazy over there. We have Tori on the podcast explain it all the time, but it
Yeah.
is messy. So yes, this is launching what they have decided described as with a plus of 30,000 plus TV episodes and more than 250 hundred more than 2,500 movies, and in the first year they're going to have 36 original series. The content will
Okay.
include all of CBS, which is CBS News and CBS Sports, as well as Nickelodeon, MTV, BET, Comedy Central, the Smithsonian Channel,
Hmm.
Paramount Pictures, MGM, and VH1, which is not included, but that's in the BET MTV family.
Yeah. Just
That's
general Viacom stuff, yeah.
I this is when it hit me was I didn't realize how long Viacom and Paramount had been acquiring things. I mean, we read Disney for doing it all the time, but Paramount has been doing this for a while too. Because I mean, my
Long
generation
time.
and the kids, I saw them pick up the Nickelodeons and the MTVs
Hmm.
and stuff like that, and really take those into different directions.
They're the OG conglomerate when it comes to content aggregation. They've
It's
just never done anything good with it, is the thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And they've had all of them. And they've lived in different worlds. I mean, now
Mhm.
recently, I think CBS put like one of the playoff games in the NFL on Nickelodeon. Um,
Okay.
Again, this is them trying, and I know recently on RuPaul's Drag Race they had the premiere launch on all of from CW to MTV to Nick. They had it launch, and I was like, that was the first time that they've used all of their platforms for one thing, which was smart to do, and they should do that more often. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so with all of this that's going to be there, one of the biggest headlines I've seen is Paramount Pictures will now put some of the biggest movie titles on 45 days after their theatrical release, which they included as Top Gun Maverick, The Quiet Place 2, and
Uh,
Mission Impossible 7 will be
wow.
premiering on Paramount 45 days after their theatrical debut when they will actually make money.
Yeah, that's actually a really good. I like that more than I like the HBO the HBO Max plan. Not for my own benefit, obviously day and date on a streaming service that I already have was better for me, but as a plan, that sounds more like a plan.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely. It's much like Universal was doing in a way of, I think they were giving it 17 days in the middle of the pandemic of like 17 days after our theatrical release we'll release onto video on demand. These are
Hmm.
coming straight to streaming though. I don't
Yeah.
think it lists at any additional price, which is nice as
Mhm.
well.
Yeah, I
And
would hope not.
these are big titles. I mean, I don't care about Top Gun Maverick, but that is a
No,
big
I
movie
don't
that they've been
care
hyping.
about any of those.
No, not really. I mean, Mission Impossible movies have been interesting. Fine.
I haven't seen any of the new ones. I don't think I've seen a Mission Impossible since 2. I don't
Oh,
think I
I
saw the
do.
Abrams one.
Oh, I liked 3 because Maggie Q's in it, and I will stand Maggie Q in
It's
just about
fair.
anything. And Timothy Olyphant, I think. Yeah, I think.
He's in one of those that I didn't see, so it'd probably be that one.
Yes. But yes, no. So those are pretty big titles. They're also doing a new the new Paranormal Activity and a
Mm.
Pet Cemetery prequel are the other big features that they have announced to come in there. Paranormal on streaming makes sense. I think that it's ran its course. If you're going to reboot it, it's a throw it to
Yeah, just throw
streaming.
it there. Yeah, that works.
But yeah, so that's one of the biggest announcements. We'll talk about the new stuff's coming, the reboots and the reimaginings and the
Mm.
revivals. But what do you think of
Hmm.
this news? So do you like the 45-day window things? That
I,
you think that'll work for them?
yeah, I think that's like I said. I think that sounds more like a plan than just like just throw it up same day because we don't know what the hell we're doing.
And then
That
take it off
seems
in 30
like
days.
yes, yes, yeah, yeah. That's the caveat that gets left out of the HBO Max conversation a lot. It's like, okay, so you're taking it off after 30 days to do what with it? Because now it's just nobody's going to the theater. Your theater run is done and it's just gone. Now it's just in the ether. Okay, that seems like a
Yeah.
thought, whatever. But yeah, this I think is a more sound and a decent idea than
Yeah,
that.
which also made me realize that Paramount has some good titles. Again, I don't really personally care about any of those. Those
They
are
got
three
money
big
makers.
yes, those are three
Yeah.
titles that will have a home. I think people one, I would actually prefer to watch A Quiet Place at home because the theater experience for that movie was a little difficult when everyone's trying to be quiet and I can hear with the popcorn. I'm like,
Yeah.
so at home I can control the sound a little bit more. But yeah, so their other big news is the revivals. They are owning a lot. This to me is why I'm wearing my Made in the 90s shirt. They're bringing back a lot of 90s. This is the first streaming service I've seen revisit the 90s more than the 80s nostalgia. I think we're starting to move away a little bit with the Friends stuff on HBO Max and Fresh Prince, but here we're getting a new Rugrats, which looks terrifying in CG.
Oh,
It looks like
I
remember the PlayStation 1 video game? It looks like the PlayStation 1 video game, the Hunt
that
for
was my
Riptar.
exact thought. Yes, that was my exact thought. Is like this looks like yeah that I forgot the name of it, but I was like this looks like the video games where you play in like a 3D imagining of the Rugrats' house, which was bizarre and unsettling, and we didn't know how to translate cartoons
Mhm.
into 3D games then, and it was weird because everything had to be 3D and it just
Yeah, because the
had some
SpongeBob games, the
bizarre stuff.
Simpsons
Hmm.
games. I like Simpsons Hit and
Yes,
Run and stuff, but they're weird looking.
yes, it's just a bizarre thing. It's like, and I don't know if you remember this. This might be a deep cut. Packaged with like my gateway Windows 98 computer,
Hmm.
there was a Nickelodeon 3D movie maker,
Yep.
and it was
Wow.
exactly that
Oh,
bizarre.
my brain. I just felt like lightning just hit my brain. It was just like, do you remember Gateway? Gateway Hero with the
Yeah.
cow. Oh my god. We're old. I just realized we're
Yeah.
old.
Yes. We've made it.
Thank you for just reminding me I'm 30 by using the word gateway. But yes, so the only thing that I thought was interesting about that was the original voice cast is coming back, which is cool.
Mhm.
I was interested when I saw voice cast returning to Rugrats. I was like, that's cute. Give me a little mini movie. Fine. I saw it,
Yeah.
terrifying. It's
Yeah, I don't
haunting.
like the aesthetic of it.
Um,
It's
so yes, there are also this is where the Halo game, the video game series
yeah.
is finally coming to.
Yeah, because it
There,
was going to be on Stars, and I guess was that I guess that was Paramount.
yes,
It
and
seems like
I
it
mean,
just kind of shifted around.
Stars has had things that they've tried for a little bit. So yes, they're also doing that. They're rebooting or adding more to the Legend of Korra,
Hmm.
Avatar: The Last Airbender universe.
Yeah.
They're doing live action versions of Dora the Explorer and Fairly Odd Parents.
Hmm.
They're rebooting a
Okay.
bunch of MTV stuff, like Behind the Music, which I actually liked growing up. I always thought those were interesting documentary,
Yeah, that was a good docu series on
and that's
for
perfect
music.
for a
Yeah.
streaming service. That's a
Hmm.
reboot I understand in this.
Yeah.
They're
Absolutely.
doing a reunion of the first Real World series. The original cast members from the Real World 30 years ago are coming back.
That's bizarre.
It's same house, same cast. Maybe fine. Again, um,
That's for somebody.
it
It's
is.
not for me, but
It is for
somebody will
somebody. I definitely
watch
see.
that.
They're also rebooting Unplugged from MTV. As someone who loved the Nirvana
Okay.
Unplugged as a kid.
Yeah, there's a few of those sets that I enjoyed. That was a good thing overall.
Yes, the two other weird ones are Beavis and Butthead, and Workaholics are getting movies. Yep, and then
Uh,
the
okay.
the big one, Frasier is coming back. So Gina Carano, look, conservatives are working in Hollywood.
Yes. um. Oh my God.
Why?
I don't. I am such a huge fan of Frasier. I think it's like one of the all-time best sitcoms. Like it's the writing on that, like top to bottom. That show ran for 11 years,
Hmm.
I think. Uh, and it's just like it's top to bottom good. Like it. There's a little dip in the middle where you're like, I don't think they know what this character is quite at this moment anymore, but it's still good and it's still well written. And then they come back and then it comes full circle. And I think that's just like insanely consistently good that
I mean,
show is.
6 Emmys, 3 Golden Globes, Screen Actors Guild. I mean, that's from that, and then 18 nominations through Kelsey
Hmm.
Grammer's career. Yeah, I mean, they won
It's
37 Emmys over the course of 11 seasons in over 260 episodes.
yeah, it's so good, and I just I would be okay with them bringing it back if you could actually maybe do the show again.
Hmm.
But it's not gonna. There's no way it's gonna be the same show. You can have Fraser Crane, and you can even bring back David Hyde Pierce Niles.
None of them are signed
Uh,
on, only Frasier.
Yeah, that's not surprising. I mean, David Hyde Pierce isn't doing anything else as far as I know, but Jane Leaves, is that how you say her name?
Hmm.
She's on The Resident, like she
Hmm.
has a job. John Mahoney, the heart of the show, who played Frasier's dad, has been dead a few years now.
Yeah,
Uh, and to me, if you don't have John Mahoney, you don't have Frasier.
yeah,
You know, because that's the whole point. That's the thing. That's what they play off of, like the snobbish sons and the blue collar dad.
yeah. You
So,
were never going to be able to do those home scenes, and that was.
mm,
I'm not a big Frasier fan, but other than his little work, where he recorded the show, I always think of that living room, and
yeah,
you can't. I mean, is he the old guy on the couch now? Like, I
yeah,
don't, I don't understand what they can do, especially now that I've seen in the press release that David Hyde Pierce, Jane Leaves, and Perry Giplin, none of whom
yeah.
are currently attached to star in the revival.
Weird. Yeah, 'cause she's Roz. Yeah, I don't know what you're gonna do with it then.
I don't know. Not to get into the politics side, but we do have this big thing of a lot of people not wanting to work with conservative actors. We see that on Tim Allen's show right now with Last Man Standing, of how much drama it's had. It's been canceled. No one's really wanted to guest star. He had a guest star as his home improvement character to get a ratings boost. Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
I'm curious if
but
people are going to be skittish with attaching, but Kelsey Grammer's been a conservative in Hollywood very loudly as well for a long time.
yeah, and he's also like largely not been an asshole about it
Yeah.
though. Like, so he's been very openly conservative. And I think it's more that like people don't want to work with assholes that
Yes,
are also conservative.
within the Trump era, he has spoken a little bit more. If you definitely
He's
Google Kelsey Grammer with Trump, there's a lot of very positive, fun things, which seems to be more the issue. Again, conservatives have never been the issue, it seems. It seemed to be the Trump era conservatives in
yeah,
Hollywood. I mean, Scott Baio wasn't working
which is
before. Um,
yeah, but yeah, that's a whole
because
thing.
I mean,
That's
look at
like
Clint Eastwood.
that's more about appearances,
Yes, and that's
because like
that's what I'm curious with in this situation. But yeah, it's a big deal. That's a big show to bring back. As much as I'm not I'm not fully enthused by it. It's something that they're using to their advantage in this. It got its whole own press release. I mean, they announced all of these things on their own. You know, they're redoing Love Story, Fatal Attraction, Italian Job. They're doing those. Those were all lumped in together.
Yeah,
This was its own thing. So they're
yeah.
banking on Frasier, and I kind of forget Frasier is a big damn deal.
Oh yeah, it
Was.
absolutely was. I mean, he played that character for 20 years in
I always
Cheers.
forget on Cheers. Yeah.
I'd be way more into a Cheers revival, to be honest with you. Like,
Yeah, him and Kirstie Alley can talk about Trump together. You know what I mean? Like, like
I mean,
I
you can bring back. I mean, he's on that show where he's like the mayor of L.A. or whatever. But Ted Danson, yeah, bring back Ted Danson. Like everybody that was in that show for the most. I mean, you can bring back Ratzenberger, John
yeah.
Ratzenberger. They could all do buddy together. But
No, yeah, no. I think Cheers would have been a more interesting one. I think in the era of It's Always Sunny, I think people still do. That show's been on for 14 seasons now. People
yeah,
want the
it's
bar.
true. It's
People like
wild.
those bar room, conversations still, and that's still a
Yeah,
talking point. That could
yeah,
still be. Again, imagine Cheers in the era of COVID. Imagine Cheers in the era of a pandemic. The conversations you could have, like I
yeah.
think there would
I
have been a lot more. What's Frasier's privileged character? I'm not saying Kelsey Grammer is a privilege. What does he gonna offer in the 2020s landscape?
yeah. It's just I don't like I said like I would be okay with that Frasier revival if like any of the cast was still on board or the heart of the show wasn't dead. Uh, but at that point, like if you're just going to have that character, have him floating in and out of Cheers,
Hmm.
like have that surround. That's a better call. And like I said, most people that were in that show are still working
Yeah.
and still alive, as far as I know. Um,
This reminds me
I
when
mean,
they
yeah,
brought
bring
back
back Shelley Long, throw her a bone.
this reminds me when they brought back Murphy Brown on some TV station, which was a popular show from back in the day.
Mm,
When she came back, it was just like, well, what do people care about what Murphy Brown has to say about feminism in 2019? There wasn't
yeah.
enough, and that's what I'm curious of. This is like, what's the angle that they're going to reboot this as? Is he a podcaster now? That's
Oh
radio shows
God,
are.
that's where it's going, and that's like going to be so like an out of touch thing.
And then is that the gimmick? Is he out of touch in the world where he's a podcaster now? I will watch the first trailer for this because I'm intrigued of what the hell they can do. I have no personal investment in this, but this is a big. I mean, Paramount really did try to do something bold with this launch, with Frasier, with all these Nickelodeon, MTV nostalgia, with the Paramount Pictures deal. They're trying. This is.
These are the same people. I mean, obviously, it's not going to be the same creative talent, but it's the same company that that dragged Patrick Stewart back to play Captain Picard again, and that was a travesty. So I I don't have a lot of faith.
Oh, they also are doing more Star Trek as well. That they've said more lower
I
decks and
know.
stuff like that.
I am actually the like I am looking forward to like some of the spin-offs, like whatever they call it, where they got Spock and
Mhm.
Pike and Anson Mount as Pike. Like I'm looking forward to that. Um, but they are bringing back Picard, and that's I don't want to watch that.
Yeah, I remember your weekly reviews. It was a journey.
See, if they get me to get in to watch like Frasier or something else like that, I'm going to end up watching more Picard, and then I'm going to be very mad.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't
Uh,
know.
all right. To wrap it up, I will give them their slight plug real quick. It's only going to be $10 a month, and then they are doing a $5 month base tier, which seems to kind of be the Peacock strategy as well of doing like
Mm,
a cheap and or free version, and then
mm.
having a more extensive one in a higher bracket. So
Well,
those are.
is that ads? Is that just like with ads, or is that just
Yes,
like with
$5
less
is supported
content?
by advertisement and limits what you can watch.
Oh,
Um,
that's okay. All right, real quick, and I know we've done this a million times on the podcast, but this is shit. Like, like the streaming era and the streaming services is horse shit. This is worse than cable. Give me cable back. I don't give a fuck anymore. Just put it all on cable. That was the point. Like
I know.
we're all just dying to just be like, can we just pay one overpriced fee and not have to deal with this shit?
Yeah, like when can I consolidate all my bankruptcy of streaming services and put them into like I just pay whatever for all of the and it just it is a mess, but they're trying. This is definitely a bold new claim, and I think they're gonna do better than some of the other ones I've seen. I mean, Disney goes in and out of its popularity. WandaVision right now it's really hot. I don't think it's gonna be as
Mm,
hot with Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
probably not.
So I definitely think each one is gonna have its moment. HBO I think will always be, as Warner has always been, the solid B plus, player in the whole game. I think it's going to be there. It has a good deal right now. I'm very excited for Snyder Cut and Mortal Kombat, Kong, but
Yeah.
we'll see. So yes, any other final thoughts on Paramount? Is there something that you just do not want to see? Something you really want to see on here? Maybe something that Paramount owns that you're like, do this.
No, more Star Trek that doesn't suck. That's all I want is better Star Trek. But
And I, this might be a good place to put another movie, maybe even.
yeah,
No, lower the budget, make it a solid piece without trying to add $100 bazillion J.J. Abrams to it.
the best Star Treks were the cheap Star Treks. Do it.
So uh,
So
I
I don't know.
think that forces artists to be better, and who knows? All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning into our Paramount Plus breakdown. It was just fun to get into this, talk about Frasier a little bit. This is going to be another streaming service in the world of streaming services, but this might be for somebody. So let us know what you think down in the comments below. Subscribe to Flickering Myth, give us a thumbs up. All right, Alan, thank you so much for joining me. All right, we have more fun conversations coming up later.
We do.